Yesterday I went to a prison ministry meeting, and it was for people who do prison ministry or those who are interested in prison ministry. And one of the women who was interested in prison ministry, she was asking all kinds of questions, and they were good questions. And so one of the things she was asking about was the Bible study night. How do you prepare for the Bible study? Is there some sort of book you follow, or some sort of program you follow, or how do you do that? Now, you could do it many different ways. I mean, you could break open the Sunday scriptures. You could break open the gospel of the day, maybe the first reading of the day. It was really up to the volunteer, or volunteers, that is. We're supposed to go 2 by 2 to decide that. But then on the other hand, it's sometimes you have to go with the Spirit, because you might prepare, you might even spend night and day preparing, and you go to the institution and possibly no one will show up. Or else, many people will show up. They'll want to talk about something else. And so you have to kind of go with the Spirit. You never know. You never know what's going to happen when you enter inside of the prison. In the first reading for the book of Wisdom, the ungodly think that they are in control of the just one. But really they're not. And they're even like, if they're even saying, if this is God's son, then God will save the just one. And so obviously when we look at this reading, we can clearly see this is about the crucified Christ. And even Jesus gets insulted. You saved others, why don't you save yourself? If you truly are the Son of God, then God the Father will save you. And yet in that time of crucifixion, Jesus is not saved. And yet Jesus is saved through resurrection, and that salvation extends to us. And so what a great gift that is, to be made aware of that. In the gospel reading, once again, Jesus shares about his upcoming death and also his resurrection. And the disciples have no clue. Jesus shares this with them, but they have no idea what they're about to get themselves into. They're still stuck in this idea that Jesus is going to lead them to battle. They recognize that Jesus is the Messiah, the Christ, and so he's going to lead them into battle, overthrow the Romans, and establish a powerful kingdom. And I want to be right beside Jesus. I want to be the great one with Jesus. In other words, I want to be able to control others. It's very interesting that in these moments, Jesus never twacks the disciples across the head or shakes his finger at them, but he does teach them. He teaches them that it's more important to be a servant. It's more important to be served than to serve than to be served. We always have to look at ways that we can serve the common good of humanity, even if it's only in little ways. And often they are little ways, but what a great gift it is to serve the common good of humanity. And then Jesus also uses the example of a child. Sometimes, it's easy to dismiss a child. What do they know? They have only lived a very short time period. They can't teach me anything. And yet children can teach us a lot. This past summer, I had the opportunity to hang out with my sister and her family, and my nephew taught me a lot. Every now and again, he would just randomly say, "I love you." And I really believe that was God speaking through my nephew in those moments when we needed to hear those words, "I love you." And aren't they words that we truly need to hear repeatedly? And I don't mean to the point that they become meaningless, but how important it is that we share those words with each other. And so as we gather around the table, Lord, once again, we go with the Spirit. We open ourselves up to this great gift that God would like to offer us. As once again, Jesus becomes vulnerable in a sense to serve our needs, so that we can go out and we can serve others in gratitude and in love.